Water is the softest and most yielding substance, yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. Lao Tzu.
Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave.
crazy, Malin. I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
Got lots of love. Love. Got lots of love. Love. Got lots of love. Love. Got lots of love. Love.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. Welcome back to CGL here, where we have an open tier matchup in the console side right now between YE Snowfall and MH Ed's Cheerleaders. My name is Dextron. That is Megalas. Megalas, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing excellent, obviously ready to get into another great match here at CGL, and the first streamed game we've had since that looming Season 9 patch that everybody's worried about, and it definitely has shaken up the game. There's a lot of people who are just kind of unaware of what to do right now, so it might set us up for a really good series here.
Yeah, from what I've seen on social media, it's so back and forth. I've seen people talk about, oh, this has killed the game. It has killed a certain play style. It has reinvigorated a certain play style. I've heard both sides. No one necessarily has seemed to figure out what is the right way to go just yet. While there have been a lot of people that have sort of agreed on some stuff, we're going to get our first kind of look at it tonight between these two teams here. Both these teams, though, looking to bounce back from week 1 losses. Edge Cheerleaders looking to bounce back from a 3-0 sweep against the Seaman Demons, and Snowfall looking to bounce back from a 3-1 loss versus Loud Gaming. That one, I believe, was streamed on Friday, so the second time already of the season that Snowfall is being shown off.
Yes, indeed, and you were able to clinch that one map, but unfortunately one map is not the series, so your second go around on stream, you definitely want to make it look a lot better, look a lot nicer, and it just hopefully will be the break, because one of these two teams has to catch a break, right? Somebody's got to win this game, regardless of anything, but yeah, it's just going to be a super fun match. Like you were saying, there's no real indication of what we're going to see, a lot of discussion over what's good, what's bad. I think the only universally agreed upon thing right now is Lifeweaver is awful. So don't expect to see any life.
Maybe a little bit half and half on that, but Megalas, we do know what our first map of the night here will be. We're going to be heading to, I believe, the map of Li Zhang Tower here. Now, in my opinion, I feel like this is a great map to start on, especially on a brand new patch.
Oh, absolutely. Just because Lijiang is the tried and true, the bread and butter of every single team. This is a map you've been playing since 2016. You've grouped up with your friends. You've played it in tournaments before, you know. Everybody has that level of comfort on this map. So in a sea of unfamiliarity with this new patch, you know, it's nice. It's like a nice reassuring blanket to make you feel safe, make you feel good for whatever you're going to try to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can talk about all day and all night long here. Each point has a different kind of play style you can play into here. And while, you know, we're going to get to see our first option or first look at what teams are necessarily wanting to play here, I mean, I have heard Poke is strong, but still, sometimes a rush comp, you really can't beat it.
I mean, yeah, and it kind of, I feel like, comes down to the tempo you're playing the game at. If you're going to force a rush comp potentially into Poke, you have to be on time with your rotations, with your speed boost from Lucio. There's just a lot of nuances that come with that. Obviously, people have mentioned Poke, they've mentioned Dive. Again, if you're playing a high tempo, it can work wonders for you, but it seems like both teams hovering in our spawns here. Ed Cheerleaders, they're on a standard rush comp, but Snowfall. This is an interesting one. This is something we have not seen cooked up in a bit.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're coming out with it too. I mean, it's very interesting. I want to see how they necessarily play this here.
Yeah, it's almost like a dive, but then you have a target on it, so you double the amount of time to not get run down by Edge. That's a big anti.
Yeah, 3 people already seeing the immortality field being forced out here. Now Snowfall just coming in already to getting one off the map. There was Insomniac trying to not going to be able to find them. Instead, they'll just throw themselves off the map. They're calling me Edboy that does find the first pick right there, and this will lead to an Edge Cheerleaders first cap.
Yes, indeed. Despite getting anti, there was enough sustain. There was no pressure coming through from the Snowfall just yet, and with nice little picks like that, though, it's going to give the Snowfall an opportunity to get back in now that they're pivoting over to the ramp.
Yeah, and I mean, Snowfall, they need to play this a little bit faster now. You got rid of that BAP for Edge Cheerleaders. That's the main healing. You already see the huge anti-need there. Get Monster, Incredulous. Same thing with Whip right there as well. But Insomniac can be able to find Monster. Raven finds Whip. And now you're just seeing the rest of Edge Cheerleaders fall one by one. Snowfall will be able to take the point.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when you lose your Baptiste in these rush compositions, you lose all sustainability, all surviving power, and, you know, it sends them back to the spawn room. So now they're going to have to find a new way to aggress this, potentially with more symmetric teleporter shenanigans here. They're just taking space in main, which is exactly what they need to do.
Yeah, I'm looking out for those sim TP shenanigans. I'm looking for a fake TP somewhere out here. You do see Axel right there on this Bastion. You see what it's doing to Edge Cheerleaders right now, forcing them to play around corners. The shield coming out there from Whip, going to be able to buy some time right now as Raven just trying to deal whatever damage they can from back in the far back line here. But now you see Whip immediately just charge right in, back out to the rest of the team. Now Raven pops the overclock. You can see now, finds one, almost going to be able to find two right there, but Axel going to be able to take care of them there. And Snowfall, though, already cleaning up this fight. They have to invest 2 ultimates, though.
Yes, indeed. But, I mean, those are really kind of the ultimates you're okay with investing. You know, Nano Overclock giving you a fight win is always going to be acceptable. But meanwhile, Edge Cheerleaders, they're going to be walking in either with everything or pretty darn close to it. The only thing lacking behind is that Symmetra wall. And, you know, you're starting to see the effects of the patch, right? Everybody takes just a little bit longer to build those ults, so it makes them just that much more impactful when they get on.
And now SimTP coming out right on the point. Blizzard coming out here from DKG. Already going to be able to find Axel right there. Now, though, Edge Cheerleaders going to be able to take the point right here, but the fight still goes down. Valkyrie going to be popped here by Roxy, but you're just seeing Edge Cheerleaders go in. Raven, though, going to be able to find iPassy right there. And Raven now 2 kills on this soldier, and right now looking for more. Make it 3. Raven popping off here. The artillery will be able to shut down Whipper right there, and it looks like Edge Cheerleaders is going to be able to hold on to the point here for a moment, but Snowfall, though, will eventually be able to retake.
Yes, indeed, but at least for Edge Cheerleaders, you know, some sort of sign of faith in this sort of reverse stomp that started happening there for a moment. They were able to get onto point, flip the point even, so they've bought themselves time for a final fight here, and they do have both their support ults to work with. That being said, you're worried about this overclock coming online for Raven, been destructive with these.
and the TP immediately coming right back out there. Axel, they're going to be able to get rid of Pacify, but you do see Whipper find Raven right back. That was the bane of their existence last team fight right now. The Annihilation coming out here from Insomniac, but Monster going to be able to boop Axel off the map right there. Oh, the Javelin Spin almost gets him off the map, and the boop almost gets him off the map as well, but Whipper able just to stay online there, but eventually, the second time's the charm there for Monster, as they will eventually get them off the map there. DKG got to be able to find Roxy, and again, you just see Snowfall falling back here.
Yes, indeed, but I mean, they kind of do have to fall back. They lost their Sojourn. That carry potential was no longer there. They're going to be able to come into this one with that Nano Overclock still in the back pocket, though. And the beat being wasted by Monter means that there's got to be some way to survive.
And look at this, Insomniac making the swap over here to the Zarya. Sin Axel going to be able to find Call Me Ed Boy right there. Now the Overclock comes out, immediately finds one, looking for more again. Remember, they found two with it last time, but now they're being pressured off the map here by Whipper. Whipper does lose their life, but they're able to take Raven to the grave with a Monster, getting another boop here. However, a 3v1 fight's not a winning fight for them. They're going to have to just play for the touch.
Yes, indeed, and Monster can do that as long as they want, but unless there's some sort of miracle that's about to occur with these two on point, I think this round is pretty much wraps for Yi Snowfall.
Well, you're seeing them trickle in one by one here. DKG gets taken out right there. Whipper coming back. Yeah, they have that Terror Surge, but it's not going to be able to do enough here for them. Snowfall going to be able to take the first point here.
Yes, indeed, a bit of a back and forth, but ultimately Snowfall walking away with that one. Just being able to rotate their ults, having the answers when they needed to come online each and every time. So, Edge Cheerleaders, they weren't completely shut out. They had some good moments in that first round, so they could definitely bounce back here, as now we are heading on over to Gardens. And this map's super, super interesting, right? This is one of the few maps in the game where you used to see a lot of Pharah. With her rework, people are debating how good it is and things like that, so potentially no one wanting to take to the skies, with that really being an undetermined factor.
Yeah, I'm kind of split on the Pharah rework at the moment. I feel like being able to feather was such a big part of her kit. Now that you really can't do that and be able to regain fuel. But I mean, really no swap, no big changes coming out of either side right now. I mean, you still see Snowfall coming back out with the Zarya here. Whipper wants to stay on this Orisa. It's going to be really interesting to see how they play into each other right now. But looks like Ed's Cheerleaders, they took that TP straight to point. Gonna try to play point here. They want Snowfall to engage into them first, but look who's starting it all off. It's Raven finding Whipper, and you just see this fight is pretty much already almost over here right now, as the rest of Snowfall just goes in. Insomniac can be able to shut down DKG right there and find Call Me Ed Boy, and that will basically do it for this fight.
And you're seeing the value that a Mercy Pocket can still provide, right? That damage boost with everybody having just that little bit of extra HP, able to make sure that it still melts away, as well as the new DPS passive, right? You're not able to get that guaranteed healing through onto the Orisa in time when that damage is coming through from the Sojourn here, and now you're seeing such an aggressive hold from Yi Snowfall on the bridge.
Yeah, and look, Whipper making another swap here, going over to a Sigma. The Sim TP coming back out. They want to get the point here a little bit fast, but they can go through the backside right now. Snowfall, gonna allow them to do that right now. Each team gonna just play around this pillar right here, but Call Me Ed Boy. Gonna find Sin Axel right there now. You see what that does, Snowfall. They want to get aggressive here. They're going after Insomniac here. They will get the point flip here, but still they're looking for more. But the healing not gonna be able to save Insomniac there. Roxy will fall as well, and now Edge Cheerleaders just cleaning up.
Yes, indeed, and that's the danger of, you know, the Symmetra in this composition. Jeez Louise, you're seeing the full effects of the Lucio boop. There is actually quite a few picks coming through from Yi Snowfall. They might want to attempt to re-engage this one early.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got that late kill there from APVS there. Now you get that late kill from Raven. You immediately see him come right back immediately. Sin actually has to fall back there, very low on health, getting healed up here by Roxy. Going with the damage boost now. There, see the TP come out there from Call Me Ed Boy, who does have the Photon Barrier ready to go. The Valkyrie, though, already being popped by Roxy. You see damage boost only at the moment. They are looking to find those kills early. Immortality Field already used here by Edge Cheerleaders, but no picks have come just yet right now. Valkyrie comes and goes there for Roxy. Now the Nano coming out here onto Sin Axel, who does pop the visor now. Photon Barrier coming out here from Call Me Ed Boy. Beat coming out from Monster as well. Just Sin Axel getting bullied out here, but they're able to find Whipper right now, and they have their eyes set on Monster. 2 kills already here for the Soldier, looking for more. Call Me Ed Boy will find Insomniac right now. No tanks for either side. A huge sleep dart there from APVS right there will eventually lead to the Yi Snowfall winning this fight and the point back.
I mean, Axel had no right to be getting those picks in that situation. You had the Lucio in your face with the extra health from the beat. You had the Sigma Rock putting you down on your back, but there just was not enough damage there, I guess, combined with the pocketing coming through from the rest of Yi Snowfall, kept the Soldier in the fight and allowed those picks to come through. So now Yi Snowfall willing to regain some ground on this percent meter here, especially with the ult they have, the Graviton being a lethal combo with Raven's Overclock.
Yeah, but Whipper does have this Flux Ray. They're immediately going to use that right now. Capture a couple in it. Insomniac going to be able to bubble to keep them alive through that here. Immediately get accretions out there. They are now looking for that grab. Here it comes. It captures 3. Already 2 being taken out here by Raven, who pops that Overclock, generating that Immortality Field as well. They're looking for more. The Reds going to be able to get Insomniac back out here. Raven, though, just cleaning up the fight. Already 3 kills. Looking like they're going to be able to take care of the last 2 as well.
And that's the power of a Sojourn right there displayed on your feeds, especially with the damage boost. Just absolutely insane how much this hero can still do. People were wondering if maybe Soldier or Ashe would be a bit better, but you're still seeing just a clinic performance put on here. Now seeing the Desperation Malga come out. I'm not really a fan of this look, but desperate times do call for desperate measures.
And a huge anti to get all started. Hits 3 right there. You already see a lot of utility used out there for Edge Cheerleaders. Death Blossom though online here, but it gets stunned out. Everyone falling to the grave. Their Sin Axel takes themselves out of this fight. They're that confident in their team, and the confidence is showing right there as they're going to end this map with a team kill.
Yes, indeed. And, you know, it's just the raw damage output. You know, a lot of meta discussion has happened, and it's been a long time since you've really seen Zarya come into sort of any of that discussion, but we have to remember those bubbles is a way to sustain people, keep them nice and healthy, as well as just the raw damage output that Zarya herself has. It's absolutely ridiculous, and just more and more of that as the series goes. But I mean, look at this, just Raven putting on a clinic.
Yeah, absolutely. Raven was a highlight machine there on that first map, but you have to look at Edge Cheerleaders there. I believe we saw 6 different tanks come out from them there. It seemed like once something wasn't working, they only really sucked in it for a fight or 2, then swapped off. I mean, there wasn't ever really a stable tank for them. I think that kind of was the reason they end up losing this first map.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. It's obviously terrifying when you're losing, especially if you feel like you're the person not getting value, and, you know, the instant feeling is, oh, I need to switch, I need to swap to this hero will be able to do this for me. And sometimes you gotta try to grind it out. Sometimes you walk into that fight with an ult disadvantage, there's nothing you really could have done, so powering back on the same tank, give yourself at least a fighting chance, is always going to be the way to go. And, you know, eventually, if you're not able to break through after a certain amount of fights, you might be able to look at swaps, but if you swap too quickly, you just sort of lose ult charge and gain nothing.
Yeah, I think we might have only saw 1 or 2 ultimates come out from the tank there for Edge Cheerleaders. I mean, we didn't necessarily see a lot of swaps come out from the DPS or support line as well. Mostly was just the tank there. And I mean, yeah, Snowfall, they made a couple tank swaps as well throughout that series, but it seemed like when they made those tank swaps, they were working out for them. Yeah, they were getting a lot of help from their DPS, but it just seemed like they felt very confident with what their tank was playing there.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, looking forward to the next map in the series, which, if I'm not mistaken, is Numbani here, because we are still in the regular season, obviously, so we have these set map pools going on. It's going to be very interesting to tell because it's such a different map from Lijiang, right? This is a map where a lot more dive has always been run, a lot more of different compositions. You can't really run those rush comps or anything akin to it until you get back towards point C, so it'll be interesting to see if these teams have some more in the tank, some more things they want to experiment with, or if they're just going to keep running what they're running, whatever works.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we really didn't see a dive come out from either of these two teams. Also, like you said, the first 2 points definitely do lend themselves to a little bit more of a dive kind of playstyle, but I would still not be surprised if a team pulls out the Ramatra here early. But again, I'm kind of still thinking and expecting the dive, whether it be the D.Va dive, the Winston dive. I kind of expect to see that. D.Va, from what I've kind of heard, is a little bit stronger than Winston right now, but I've heard different opinions on that. I've heard that Winston is stronger, the D.Va is stronger if you want to run dive. I think it just kind of depends on what you're playing around it there.
Yeah, I mean, it could come down to what you're playing around, but also comes down to just your individual skill, right? Some people are just better at the Winston than the D.Va, and just being able to mitigate and things of that nature just comes second nature on certain heroes. Me personally, if we're talking about dives, there's been some titillating whispers in the background saying, guys, Wrecking Ball might be the truth. Wrecking Ball might be the answer after all this time. But, we haven't seen it in a match yet in so long. So maybe one of these teams will try to whip it out here.
Yeah, I mean, Ball we haven't seen in a long time. I feel like maybe Hog is another character we haven't seen in a long time. We're not going to probably see Hog still for a while. But Ball is very interesting because while they do kind of fall into potentially a little bit of a dive or a little bit of a rush kind of comp, in my opinion, they're more of a disruption tank. You want them to get in, spike down, and then get out. Try to have their DPS clean up from them there. It's going to be really interesting to see what these two teams want to do here, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of waiting for teams to get settled, make sure they're all ready in the lobby, of course. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways you can play the game now, just because the fact that nobody really knows. There's no set answer for what the meta is right now. It's so fresh, it's so new, but it seems as though there are some substitutions coming through here for Cheerleaders, and gotta say, got some interesting players coming in.
Yeah, both these teams are surprisingly have deep rosters. Both of them have 10 players on each team, so we could see a lot of movement from these rosters throughout the night here. And going into a second map, I'm not surprised that we're seeing a little bit of a swap up here from the Cheerleaders.
I was about to say, had a bit of a tech issue there, my apologies, but yeah, absolutely, these rosters, and when you have a deep roster like that, it's always interesting to kind of try to balance it out, right? Do you just continue to sub people when they truly on their best heroes? Do you try to sub people, try to build like a consistent core lineup? There's so many different approaches, so many different ways that you could think about it, but ultimately each team is different with how they want to operate it, so it's going to really be down to if they have a coaching staff of any kind, or if anybody's really working with them to figure out their rotations when it matters.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do know for, I believe, Ed's Cheerleaders that call me Ed Boy might have been, I think is listed as the coach for them, or at least staff for them here. So maybe, you see a lot of mix up from that there because of it. But I mean, we can say what the kind of changes are for them. Whip is coming in on the tank here. Fearless, though, is actually coming in here on DPS. Eclectic is coming in as well on the support line here. So a little bit of shifting coming around here from Ed's Cheerleaders.
Yeah, a lot of shifting coming through, absolutely, and that spells one of two things, like I was saying, right? Either they truly have confidence with this extra lineup, they can just sub out a large majority of their players and still feel consistency where they want it, or this is, hey, we saw you guys just kind of get walked over map one, let's get you the heck up out of there and let's let the actual people in. But it's going to be interesting to see kind of exactly how that goes, because there's so many different ways you can play it. Initially here on the defense, no dive being shown. You're seeing the Sigma composition, a lot of poke. Raven on another carry hit scan potential with the Ash pick with the Mercy Pocket. Meanwhile, Edge Cheerleaders, they're sticking with the Ramatra, but with an odd sort of comp surrounding it. No Lucio to speed it anywhere.
Yeah, no Lucio at all, especially when you have Fearless on this Bastion, already one of the slower moving DPS characters. You would think you would want to have the Lucio there to make sure that they have some speed here, but you immediately see Whipper here engage on this high ground, throwing down that well. They're trying to get them off it, but it's going to be Raven finding Fearless here first, and again, it's just now one by one already the Cheerleaders being sent back to spawn.
Yeah, and that's one of the things with this Ramatra comp, when you're on any sort of rush, really, you got to be able to decide where you're going and take very decisive rotations, decisive fights, and you're not able to do that without a Lucio speed. Some pivots coming out now. They are on the Lucio as well as over to the Orisa. It's going to be Orisa Curie Lucio here walking out of spawn, so sure, now you've swapped over to the faster comp, but you still have to make that playstyle decision to be aggressive, and they're just instead just choosing to take damage in main.
Yeah, they're just getting kind of harassed from this high ground by Raven. I mean, and Raven's also getting this damage boost here from Roxy. Already going into that low ground right there, trying to get them some safety. The Dynamite coming out, they're going to be able to hit someone with that Ripper. And Monster very low, but it's going to be iPassy falling out here first. And there goes a lot of damage from that Soldier, who we saw pop off last map in the hands of Raven. But look at Raven already having a Bob online, taking care of Electric right there, and Whipper. The fight's already over before it really even started.
Yeah, and yeah, again, it just comes down to you have to be decisive. You can't linger anywhere. You give Raven the opportunity. Raven has proven already through these first 2 maps that they will hit the head every single time. They will find those picks. You know, you're seeing more adaptation coming through from Edge Cheerleaders, a team, no offense, they're starting to look a little bit lost, a little bit flustered. They're pivoting over to a dive composition now with the Tracer, the Sombra, full dive with a Diva to boot. But again, same comp, or different comp, but same issue. You're just sitting in main, letting yourself get poked.
Yeah, I mean, this is the 3rd life for Edge Cheerleaders, and like you said, the 3rd different composition coming out with here. The dive comp, though, we talked about coming into this map. We thought we would see it here. Maybe it took them a little bit long, but Passy got to be the first one to fall here. That's not how you want it to go. Bob, though, coming out here from Raven, but Electric going to be able to take care of Sin Axel right there. The DMAC, though, going to come out. Sin Axel back in the fight there, and they immediately find Whipper right back. Sin Axel now going in for 2. Raven trying to flank to make sure they get those stragglers.
And now we're going to be dipping below a minute before the next fight really takes place. And Edge Cheerleaders, again, I feel like I'm a broken record at this point, but they're just taking too long to set up these engagements. They have to find where they want to be and how to get there in the quickest way possible, because they're just giving so much time over to Snowfall, and there's too many variables for them to really to take that much time. They have to be sort of quick and effective with how they want to take this.
Goodness.
And again, you're just letting it happen.
You know where Raven's gonna be. You need to move as a team here. They immediately get rid of Monster early, who has one of the only ultimates on the board for them right now. That Consuming Rush is not gonna be invested in as the final fight tool.
Yeah, exactly. You know, just off of that one pick, because you're not rotating properly, this went from you had a minute, 2 fights guaranteed, to now you're going to be fighting this probably in final fight territory with your dive finally coming through.
Flux coming out, they're not going to be able to find anyone, but Raven does find Passy right there. Monster falls as well. You only really have the Lucio for heals, but hey, they're not there anymore either. Captain Sun going to come out and hit 2 members there, but the fight is already set and done here. Edge Cheerleaders, I don't think they're going to have enough time to get back here.
No, there's going to be some attempt to try to touch, but I think it's going to be an attempt made in vain here. And, you know, Edge Cheerleaders, a lot of members on that team never building an ult in that round due to just the insane indecisiveness they showed. And it just, you know, that's all music to Snowfall's ears, right? Especially when you have someone as potent as Raven up on this high ground just doing damage with a Mercy Pocket. This indecisiveness is just what you feed off of.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it on the first map. It's continuing here on the second map. Here's the thing, though. I mean, Edge Cheerleaders, they were making these swaps pretty constantly so far. They don't have that same kind of safety this round. They can't make these swaps as often because you can only give up essentially a tick here.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking for a draw situation at best for Edge Cheerleaders. Otherwise, you're going to be heading down 0-2 in this series, and that's never a position you want to be in right away, having to worry about the odds of reverse sweeping. But, you know, it's where you find yourselves now, so you have to be able to sort of mentally fortify, figure out exactly what you want to do. Here on the offense, they're all obviously in spawn, so they'll be able to swap around a bit more, but would not be surprised to see Raven stick to that Ashe, constantly doing damage with the Mercy Pocket. But meanwhile, this defense, they're finally showing a Sigma of their own, and, you know, lacking the faith in the snipers, it seems like we're going to be opting into the Torbjorn.
Yeah, and we just need to see something here from Edge Cheerleaders. I mean, you look at what Snowfall's coming out with here. They're basically showing us the exact same thing they ran on defense, minus the Sigma, this time with the Doomfist instead. And look at where Insomniac is already at here.
Yeah, and Insomniac's taking very decisively, getting in there, making sure the team is in position for when this engage comes through. Probably going to be looking for a slam up onto this close high ground to isolate a target. And yep, there it goes.
They get the isolated target right there. Monster immediately taken out. That's not who you want to see fall first of your Edge Cheerleaders. But right now, still Insomniac in that backline. Already the turret taken out, and now APVS going to be able to take care of Electric. Fearless falls as well there. The beginning of the end is already on the table right now. Once they get rid of Whipper, Snowfall will go up 2-0 in this series.
I mean, there's no one person to blame. Ed Cheerleaders is simply getting outclassed, but no offense, Electric, that might have been the most telegraphed res in human history right there. Flying all the way across the point, knowingly into the arms of Insomniac on the Doomfist here. And it's just an absolute mystery. Absolutely great for Ye Snowfall. They're showing up Raven again with another play of the game highlight here, simply proving how good they are on this new patch. All these shots connecting exactly how they need to.
Yeah, I called them a highlight machine after the first map. They're still a highlight machine here after map 2. But with that being the end of map 2, we're gonna take a quick break and be right back with map number. No break, my bad. But I mean, Meglas, what does Ed's Cheerleaders need to do here right now? Because I mean, you look back at Lijiang Tower, the 2 points, they were pretty close. Then you come here to Numbani, and it's not close at all.
Yeah, and maybe it comes down to you made all of those swaps. Potentially players weren't warm, weren't ready on the keys yet. But you got to start thinking exactly what went right for you on Lijiang Tower, and it was that tempo. You were using the Symmetra TP to your advantage, setting up the fight exactly how you wanted to, and acting decisively. You didn't win the fight every single time, but it gave you tempo, it gave you momentum, exactly the way Overwatch is played. It's a flow state game where, as long as you do it all correctly, chances are it'll work out for you 90% of the time. So, Edge Cheerleaders, they gotta be able to sort of regroup that mental, bring it back down and get on the same page. That's gonna be the first step if they want to hope for a reverse sweep.
Yeah, because the Edge Cheerleaders we saw in the first map compared to the one we saw in the second map, yeah, they made some swaps out there, but it looked like two completely teams at the same time. It was almost the same team. I mean, we saw on the first map, they made tank swaps pretty consistently. On Numbani, it was, okay, we're going to make whole comp swaps after every individual fight. I mean, they only were able to build up that one Kitsune rush that I don't even know if they used it at the end of that first point, or first round there.
Yeah, I don't think it got used either, and you can change to every single hero in the game. You can sit in your spawn and do it, but you're burning time off the clock. And like we said, every single time they swapped a composition, even being on different heroes, their playstyle stayed the same. They acted too slowly. They sat in main getting poked out by the Ashe and eventually just fell over from the raw damage because Raven is just that good of a player. You can't give opportunities to a hit scan DPS like that. Otherwise, you're just never going to be able to find any sort of success going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, give the Yokai Esports Snowfall team here a lot of credit. I mean, they've done great so far, and like the little adversity they faced on Lijiang Tower, they handled it pretty well, made smart swaps, and stuck with them. Then, going into Numbani here, they looked great. I mean, they basically ran the same comp, both offense and defense. The only difference was Insomniac going over to that Doomfist, which you saw the results got picked off basically both supports first there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, a situation you can't really think of working out for Edge Cheerleaders where, Snowfall, they're just playing at this higher tempo. They're knowing exactly what they want to do and being able to make that decision and follow it up in the moment. You've probably heard it, if you've been around the Overwatch scene long enough, it's much better if 5 people are following the right plan than if 2 people are, or if 5 people are following the wrong plan versus 2 people following the right plan. It's just kind of that teamwork, coordination always being needed, especially at this level of gameplay. But I don't know. I mean, I would love to see a reverse sweep, but unfortunately, I don't know if it's in the cards at this rate.
I'm right there with you, but I'm confident that Edge Cheerleaders will be able to potentially make Saravasa here a little bit of a more competitive map. It's a lot like what Control was on Lijiang Tower. Yeah, it's, completely different game modes, but still, it's Control at its core.
2 teams fighting over a point where neither really has advantage unless they're holding off of the point. So you're absolutely right about that. And this is a map that, regardless of the meta, one of the biggest highlights is pretty much the support lineup is always going to be something very fast paced. You have heroes like Lucio, Moira always come into the mix, Kiriko potentially, depending on what you want to run. And, you know, Yi Snowfall, they're running exactly what I would want to run on this point. You got the Genji, the Tracer being nuisances on the dive in the back line. It's just everybody working out.
And look what Ed's Cheerleaders is bringing out here. They're bringing out the Hog, a character I said at the start of the stream I don't think to expect to see at all here. And they're bringing it out here. It's going to be really interesting to see how they play with this Hog here. But if the Hog's able to land hooks, able to get those the cage traps out there incredibly well, they're going to be able to find a lot of value right now. But now Synaxle just going in at them. A huge target. It's going to be Call Me Ed Boy. Finding Raven out here early, getting rid of the bane of their existence. But right now, Ed's Cheerleaders backing away from the point, but they're still finding the pick. Cheerleaders have come alive right now, and no one's capped the point yet.
Yes, indeed, both teams decided to take the fight where they thought that each would have the advantage, but it seems like Ed's Cheerleaders finally got something working for them with this Roadhog. You know, we have to keep in mind, as much as you want to burst him down without an Ana, that's 800 HP with Take a Breather available that you got to try to chunk through, and it's never going to be easy. Yi Snowfall making a very smart adaptation over to the Zenyatta now. Ooh, that hook was absolutely lethal.
And the punch, Insomniac just missing it right there. Still it's the pillar, but it doesn't seem like a lot of people on Cheerleaders really paying attention to the Doomfist at the moment. Instead going after Synaxle right there because they are incredibly low. But now, I mean, Ed's Cheerleaders playing this point perfectly so far. Yi Snowfall, though, doing the same thing. They're not engaging too far, and they're able to get themselves out. But Call Me Ed Boy again finds an early pick there. Immediately traded out, though, by APVS. And now each team down 1 DPS at the moment. Another hook landing onto Insomniac right there. You do see Insomniac try to get in that backline, now immediately punching themselves back out of the fight here. I mean, Snowfall having a really hard time even engaging onto the point here outside of their tank.
Yeah, and I mean, Insomniac, sure, you're getting onto point, but there's no real damage coming through. These punches aren't connecting, the slam damage isn't there. We're already ticking towards that 100% that Edge Cheerleaders needs, and it seems like there's just not going to be a way in.
Yeah, and you see the trade come out there right there, but Ed's Cheerleaders able to tap this first point, and now, I mean, Monster getting very aggressive here. Raven so low, Monster gonna go after them, but it's gonna be Call Me Ed Boy taking that kill right there as we head over to point 2.
Well, I think you have to let Ed Boy have the kill there. You know, the team is named after them after all, so maybe it's just sort of the ritualistic offering, but yeah, Edge Cheerleaders finally able to come up with something that's looking pretty decent here. They've upped the tempo a lot. They've been a lot more decisive here, but now heading into this next flashpoint, Yi Snowfall, they've made a few adaptations of their own. Let's see how this Hog fares against Ana.
And especially Insomniac on this Sigma right now, but Raven finding monsters, so no beat available right now. Synaxle shuts down skills, immediately dives into the backline right there, gonna be able to take care of Passy right now, and now this fight's already over. They're just trying to clean up the last remaining members, and Whipper just kind of sits there and embraces death.
You know, potentially already looking for the H key to swap heroes, knowing that Ana Zen is on the other team, but you know, even if you choose to stick on this Roadhog, it's going to be a massive uphill battle, because now Yi Snowfall, they finally built towards these ultimates. They have them online, both the Dragon Blade, which got a pretty significant buff with its blade swing speed, as well as Raven, who's been lethal with these overclocks so far.
This is going to be a pretty heavily invested ult fight from both sides here. I think sticking with the Hog is the right move right now for Edge Cheerleaders, because by far been the best they've looked all night here. They have the Suzu though from Passy if they do get the that Discord orb thrown on them, but they need to be able to keep them alive. But Call Me Ed Boy finds the first pick right there. Insomniac incredibly low, but Synaxle on this high ground does have the blade ready to go, but 2 ultimates coming out here from Edge Cheerleaders, the Kitsune Rush and the Overclock, the Transcendence coming out here from APVS. Now the Flux coming out from Insomniac. Not going to be able to find anyone as skills shuts them down. 4 ultimates coming out here from side of Edge Cheerleaders. Only 2 coming out from Snowfall. But you see Edge Cheerleaders needed that fight right there to keep this point alive.
Yes, indeed, but did you need all 4 ultimates? You start to wonder, maybe I could get that whole Hog back, or potentially, you know, even was the beat necessary. But of course, everybody got Flux, so you were worried about making sure in the moment the sustain coming through. Now Yi Snowfall, they can nano either of their DPS and create a massive problem that can really only be answered by Whipper hitting an insane hook.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want Monster to have that beat here, survive probably the Nano Blade that will come out here. Yeah, here comes the Nano Blade immediately into the backline, finds skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2, 3. Can they find a 4th? They won't need to find it. They retake the point and will tie up the map.
Yes, indeed, and you're seeing just how potent Nano Blade is, especially when you're comboing it with these supports, the Ana and the Zen. It just means that something's getting antied as well as discorded. It might as well just blow up then and there. Edge Cheerleaders making a swap over to the Winston now, and while I appreciate them finally recognizing the Roadhog's not the answer, I don't know if this is much better.
Yeah, I'm right there with you as well. It's going to be really interesting to see how they play because it's going to be very difficult for them to dive onto the backline. Everyone for Snowfall is playing very close to each other right here, but diving on the backline is not the biggest problem they have right now. Instead, it's Raven finding to make it 3 for the highlight machine.
The highlight machine continues to just print out these plays, and you gotta start to wonder from Edge Cheerleaders, where's the point where you grind your heels in? This is going to be a pretty even fight. Nobody really close to any ultimates, so you got to show the value that this Winston can get, potentially with some off-angle damage coming from the Soldier or the Sojourn, but you got to make it work here.
Yeah, but you already see skills there get hit with that anti. But that's a great start there. Honestly, for Edge Cheerleaders, knowing that they do not have to deal with the anti right now. Maybe they play a little bit more aggressive. Call Me Eddie, though, going to be immediately taken out there to dive, come out on that high ground. Whipper, they're going to immediately follow their Soldier right back to the grave. And now it seems like the rest of their team going to be joining them there soon.
Yes, indeed. It's just going to be some cleanup kills here. Actually missing a few shurikens there is Axel, but finally is able to pick it up in the end. And yeah, the right idea was made there from Ed Boy with, going on an off angle with the Soldier. Just the downside is you off angled directly into 3 of the enemy team. So now you're seeing the Soldier 76 be given up in favor of the Sombra here, which means you're probably looking to harass this Zen and get into this point.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how Call Me Ed Boy plays this Sombra right now, but you do see Whipper dive into that backline there, immediately fall back here, do commence overtime. They have the Casino Rush ready to go here. Do see APBS use that Transcendence in that backline, keeping everyone alive right now. Skills, though, popping their own overclock here, looking for anything, gets rocked out of it and rocked to death right there. Sin Axel finds Patchy, the Flux comes out. Insomniac looks like they're actually kind of surprised he's hit anyone with that one there, but it's going to be a team kill to put them on to series point.
Yeah, and there was just too many ultimates in the bank of Yi Snowfall for Edge Cheerleaders to come back from that one. So now they are going to have to be able to take these next 2 points if they want to have any chance of starting this reverse sweep. But it's definitely going to be an uphill battle. You got to worry about this Nano Blade coming online once again. But you do have the beat from Monter in order to try to live this one. But it's still going to be a rough fight overall.
Yeah, but Monster cannot use that beat early, but here comes the blade, and now the Nano comes out as well to get rid of Whipper. The beat comes out, APVSO able to find Call Me Ed Boy, but hey, this fight is already over here. Yi Snowfall going to be able to cap this point easily.
The beat comes out too late, does not save the Winston in time, so now you've ultimately beated for nothing as the Nano Blade comes through, rips your team apart. Now Raven looking to be the highlight machine once again, the only ultimate online for Snowfall here. But Edge Cheerleaders, they have a chance to get really aggressive with this Primal Rage. It could be the go button for them if they're able to actually show some aggression.
Yeah, but I mean, you need to see some sort of aggression to come out here. Yeah, here comes the... Oh my goodness. Oh, no.
Oh, Whipper.
Oh, the Primal... Insomniac gets credit for the kill there, but... Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there's no words to describe that one. If you've ever played Winston, you've probably done that once or twice. You click jump, and before you realized it, you were in the drink. You're now seeing what is most likely a desperation swap. We're onto the Reinhardt. I think if you asked anybody to play Reinhardt with a Kiri Lucio, I think they would all weep at the thought, but who knows? This EMP could try to come up big.
But you're already down your Reinhardt here, Monter as well. They're going to get the touch here. The EMP does come out, but Raven finds to immediately, and that will basically do it. Ed Boy's out. Whipper already back at the spawn. YE Snowfall will be able to bounce back from a loss in week 1 with a 3-0 sweep over Edge Cheerleaders here tonight.
It's not even just a 3-0. Let's call it what it is. Snowfall put on a clinic here. Raven hogging all of the play of the games from these maps, and for good reason. This Sojourn, the Ashe on the second map, just absolutely insane. Sure, the railgun is a little bit bigger, but hey, you're still hitting those shots, you're still connecting, and there's not every single player in the world that can do that. So my hat's off to Yi Snowfall. They showed why they deserve this win, and they got it with resounding fashion.
Yeah, I mean, you can even go back to Lijiang Tower, which was probably the closest map of this series. It was very back and forth. At points, it seemed like Edge Cheerleaders had figured out Snowfall, but then Snowfall, they adjusted it, made some changes, came right back out, and kind of shut down Edge Cheerleaders right there. But, I mean, after Lijiang Tower, we saw what Numbani was, and Edge Cheerleaders might have fooled us there a little bit on that first point of Sarabasa there. They looked dominant. It looked like Snowfall really did not know what to do, but they did the exact same thing they did on Lijiang Tower. They let that point go, they made some changes, came back out, and Edge Cheerleaders was just a little bit too slow to make changes as well.
Yeah, and I mean, especially on Sarabasa, you could point towards a hero change, right? Once the other team goes Ana and Zen, that should be a wrap on the Roadhog hero, regardless of ultimate status. But even then, you know, regardless of what hero you're switching to, it comes down to switching your playstyle as well. Finding a way to up the tempo, slow the game down, whatever you have to do, but you have to be able to pick a tempo and make it work. Kind of just walking to the point as 5 people is not the teamwork you think that it is. So it's going to be Edge Cheerleaders heading back to the drawing board to figure out exactly what went wrong there and see if they can make something work next time.
Still very early on in the season for both these two teams, but Snowfall going to go up to 1-1 on the season. Edge Cheerleaders drops to 0-2, and still very early with this patch we just got, the Season 9 patch. I imagine by next week we're going to have a better understanding of what's kind of the main meta and what's kind of not here. I feel like though each team maybe figured out something in this first game, but at the same time, I feel like there was a lot of throwing mud at the wall and seeing like if it would stick, and for most times it did not.
Yeah, and that's always going to be the scary thing, you know, when it doesn't stick. But if you find something that does, you know, make it work as long as you can. Raven, an absolute talent tonight, but let's acknowledge what it was. There was a Mercy pocket sitting there a lot of the time, and once teams are able to get their act together, you know, actually hold toe-to-toe against you, that's not going to work all of the time. So every team should take this as a learning opportunity to go back to the drawing boards, learn something new, because as you said, this patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game, so it's going to be interesting moving forward with the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. But that will do it for us here tonight at CGL. Just want to give a quick shout out to everyone behind the scenes. Henrammer, Hippie, and Beam Garner. They all did a great job getting you everything that you guys saw throughout the night. Megalas, I want to thank you for being my co-caster here tonight. You were amazing as always. But that will do it for us here tonight at CGL. There's still a lot more action to come this week, so make sure you guys follow and stick around for that. But that will do it for us. Hope you all have a great night.
Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours.